Okay, big time, let's roll. Rock and roll.
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music.
Rock and roll is a safe and sane dance for all young people.
Any old way you choose it.
I offer my music to you. The distortion, the emotion of my sound.
It's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Rock and roll. Any old time you use it. Gotta be rock roll music. Rock and roll. If you wanna dance with me.
Stand by, going to air.
Stand by, Phil.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
Hi, this is Extra Surfing Story. Surf music started for real in 1961 when Southern California guitar virtuoso Dick Dale released Let's Go Trippin', generally viewed as the first surf music instrumental. And a year later, he put out maybe the greatest surf instrumental ever, Miserlou, a track given a second life 32 years later in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. An explosion of surf instrumentals followed, including classics like Pipeline by the Shantays. And novelties like Wipeout by the Surfaris. Starting with the Beach Boys' debut album, Surf and Safari, the genre quickly found its voice.
Let's go surfing now, everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
And Jan and Dean were right there with them.
2 girls for every boy. I bought a 34 wagon and we call it a Woody. Surf City, here we come.
And Hollywood didn't miss a beat, cashing in with a string of surf movies starting with 1963's Beach Party, followed by Muscle Beach Party, Bikini Beach, Beach Blanket Bingo, and How to Stuff a Wild Bikini.
I only take what's free. Now you swing with me on that or you don't swing at all. Now, cool it, Dee Dee. I'm gonna hit the surf. Wipe out.
Little surfer, little one, made my heart come undone. Do you love me? Do you, surfer girl, I have watched you on the shore, standing by the ocean's roar. Do you love me? Do you, surfer girl, surfer girl, surfer girl? We could ride the surf together while our love would grow. In my Woody, I will take you everywhere I go. So I say from me to you, I will make your dreams come true. Do you love me? Do you, surfer girl, surfer girl, my little surfer girl, little girl, surfer girl, my little surfer girl, little girl, surfer girl.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner, winner, bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner, winner, bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner, winner, bird, bird. The bird's a winner, winner, bird, 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 bird, bird. The bird's a winner, winner, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody's talking about the bird, a winner, bird, bird. The bird's a winner, winner, bird.
Sits on a dock, fishing in the water, I don't know her name, she's a fisherman's daughter, Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down where we can play. Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down, we'll sail away. She smiles so nice, like she wants to come with me, But she's tied to the dock and she can't get free. Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down where we can play. Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down, we'll sail away. Fish all day, sleep all night. Father never lets her out of his sight. Soon I'm gonna help you get my knife and cut that rope, so we can go fishing in my little red boat. Make you happy in my little red boat. So come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down where we can play. Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down, we'll sail away. Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down where we can play. Come on down to my boat, baby. Come on down, we'll sail away.
And now, LP Classics. This week in 1975, Aerosmith earned a gold record for their third LP, Toys in the Attic. The band seemed to find their stride on this one, which went on to become their first platinum record as well. And, among other things, it featured one of the signature songs of their career.
Backstroke lover, always hiding beneath the covers till I talk to you, my daddy say. He said you ain't seen nothing till you're down on the muffin, then you're sure to be changing your ways. I met a cheerleader, was a real young breed, all times I can reminisce. All the best things of loving with a sister and a cousin, only started with a little kiss. to walk this way, 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 walk this way. Just give me a kiss. It was 3 young ladies in a school gym locker when I noticed they was looking at me. I was a high school loser, never made it with a lady till the boss told me something I missed. Then my next door neighbor with a daughter had a favor, so I gave her just a little kiss like this. See, you start swinging with the balls in the school and your feet flying up in the air. I sing, hey, diddy, with your kitty in the middle. I swing like I didn't care. So I took a big chance at the high school dance with the missy who was ready to play. Wasn't me, she was fooling, cause she knew what she was doing when she taught me how to walk this way. She told me to walk this way, 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 walk this way. Just give me a kiss. Like this.
In November of 1975, Aerosmith found themselves playing in front of 80,000 people at Detroit's Lions Stadium. The fact was, with the success of Toys in the Attic, the group found themselves competing with the likes of ZZ Top and Kiss as one of America's most in-demand live acts. And no Aerosmith show from that period was complete without the song that was actually the first single off of Toys, Sweet Emotion. Emotion from Aerosmith. And before that, Walk This Way. News, now with interest-free fact-checking.
Hey, can somebody check the facts on this story?
Sorry, not interested.
This week in 1979, the world's attention was focused on Pocatello, Idaho, as they hosted the opening date of a major U.S. tour by Fleetwood Mac.
Can't help about the shape I'm in. Can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. Don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answers that you want me to. Now when I talk to God, I know he'd understand. He said, stick by me and I'll be your guiding hand. Don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answers that you want me to.
Fleetwood Mac in concert with Oh Well. The group began a major U.S. tour this week in 1979. This week in 1938, in Brownsville, Tennessee, Annie Mae Bullock was born. She later became famous as Tina Turner. This week in 1970, George Harrison released the album All Things Must Pass.
It's Johnny's birthday. It's Johnny's birthday.
And this week in 1967, the Beatles released Magical Mystery Tour, the album. In 1978, Chrissie Hynde was signed to a record deal but still needed a band. The label hooked her up with drummer Gas Wild, who brought in bassist Pete Farndon, who got guitarist James Honeyman Scott involved. Gas was fired and replaced by drummer Gary McElduff, but then Honeyman Scott backed out, only to return as soon as he heard Nick Lowe was producing the single. McElduff was then replaced by drummer Martin Chambers, and the Pretenders were born. Simple, huh? And this week in 1981, their self-titled first album was certified platinum.
Got this in pocket, gunpowder, I'm
gonna use it. Intention, I'm feeling mental. Gonna make you notice. Got motion, restrained emotion. I've been diving, detour leaning. No reason, just seems so pleasing. Gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my side step, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination. 'Cause I gonna make you see there's nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention. Give it to me. I got rhythm, I can't miss a beat. I got new skank, so read. I got something I'm winking at you. Gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my side step, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination. 'Cause I gonna make you see there's nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention. Give it to me, 'cause I gonna make you see there's nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention. Give it to me. And when you walk,
The Pretenders and Brass in Pocket. This week in 1962, a drug overdose was cited as the cause of death of screen legend Marilyn Monroe. This week in 1963, the original beach movie Beach Party opened, starring Frankie Avalon and former Mouseketeer Annette Funicello.
Yeah, we're surfing all day and we're swinging all night. Vacation is here. Beach party tonight.
This week in 1968,
I shall be released.
the band released their first album, Music from Big Pink. This week in 1971, the Moody Blues released this classic written by Justin Hayward, and it was really overwrought, quite tasteful.
Thinking about our fortune, and I decided that we're really not to blame. For the love that's deep inside us now is still the same. And the sound we make together is the music to the story in your eyes. It's been shining down upon me
Story in Your Eyes, released this week in 1971.
Time we have wasted on the way.
This week in 1983 in Texas, David Crosby got 5 years in prison on charges of cocaine and weapons possession. This week in 1986, after serving just 5 months, Crosby got out on parole. This week in 1981, Stevie Nicks released her first solo album, Belladonna.
Sounds like she's singing. Ooh, baby, ooh.
And this week in 1947, in Scotland, the most outstanding lead singer flutist to start a band named after an 18th century agriculturalist was born. Happy birthday from Flashback to Ian Anderson. Jethro Tull, Living in the Past.